There we go.
Oh.
That's better.
Oh.
Left aileron up and read the max deflection value. So there we go. That's all I got, man.
Okay.
Dave said hold that. Look at that.
Nice. Very nice. Beautiful.
I came up with this little 3D print, and I'll put the link for these in the description so you can have these on Thingiverse. So climb up, wings over, and here we go, inverted flat spin. Hello, welcome to RC Video Reviews. Today we've got a maiden flight of the 85-inch Skywing Extra NG. I got this plane from Northwest RC. I've already done a full build review. I'll put a link to that video in the description so you can check that out if you want. Today we're just gonna get into the Maiden. One thing I have to tell you guys is this video is sponsored by KST, who provided the servos for this build. Thanks to KST for sending these out for my airplane. I look forward to flying with them. I'll put a link to those servos in the description as well in case you'd like to get some for yourself. Now, before I fly, Dave and I today spent some time on balance. We spent some time working on the deflection. I've done a full control surface check, but I'm gonna do it one more time because that's the way I roll. And this is a big plane, so I wanna make sure it's right. The rudder should go right, and I have it going right. Now it should come left, and it does. I expect the elevator to come up, and it does. Let me go into high rate so you guys can see them real easy. There, now the elevator's up, and now I expect the elevator to go down. It does. I expect the left aileron to come up, and it does. I expect the right aileron to come up, and it does. And we just taxied with it, so I know we've got power. One last thing before I fly, this plane is flying with two 6L 4000s. I tried balancing it with 6L 5000s, and it was too nose heavy. So I went to my Superior 6L 4000s. They're running 2 in series, so I got a 12S setup in here, and that's the battery system. So the wind is just a little bit breezy. It's not terrible. It's actually a calm breeze. It's actually really kind of nice for flying, to be honest, because it's not blustery. It's just a slight little breeze. So I expect this plane should handle it just fine. All right, here we go with the maiden flight of the 85-inch Skywing Extra NG. Look at that big bird, holy smokes. Wow. All right, I gotta trim it, so give me just a moment to trim. Literally 2 clicks of up elevator and that's it. And that might be 1 click too many. All right, I'm gonna bring it in close and let Dave get a look at her. Down close and low, and then we're gonna start doing the maiden testing.
Beautiful.
Okay, first test is gonna be my center of gravity test, and I like to do a 45-degree upline, about 70% power, go inverted, and watch what happens. And just a very neutral nose drop, so I'd say that is perfectly spot on. So the book recommends CG on the spar, and that's what I did. No problems there. So I'm just gonna come around and do a quick little stall. We're into the wind now. And I'm gonna climb up just a little bit, power comes off, elevator, elevator.
Nice.
Beautiful stall, nice and straight. Nothing unusual there. All right, next up is a yaw test. The way I like to do my yaw test is a straight up climb. And then once I'm moving straight up, I kill the power and look for the nose to drop. Whichever way it drops, I do opposite trim. So straight up in the air. And power off. Oh wow, straight down. All right, next up is a loop. I do a loop just to check the squareness of the horizontal stabilizer with the wing. So just a straight up loop. And I'm looking for tracking and corkscrew. And I see none, perfect. That's it, that's the Maiden. So everything's trimmed and square. Boy, the plane's straight. That's all I can tell you about the plane. It is definitely square and straight. Well, now we got to try some stuff. All right, a little bit of a knife edge, see how that does.
Very nice.
Oh my gosh, man, that is perfectly straight.
Yeah.
Let's do one coming the other way.
The 85-incher, huh? It just flies great. Can you imagine the 104?
That's it. I am getting a voltage alert, believe it or not. So with the voltage alert, I'm coming down.
Yes.
I'm not going to play around with this. So there's the Maiden, guys. All I'd say so far, my first experience is I'm really thrilled with it. I'm going to have to do something about the batteries though, because 6L4000, that felt really short, especially given that I didn't do that much. But anyway, that's the testing that I like to do on a Maiden anyway, so I'm okay with it. One more. Boy, the visibility is great, and we have really unfavorable video conditions today with this overcast sky. We're getting no help from the sun. And even with that, I can still see the plane really easy with the white and red. Looks great. There we go.
Oh.
That's better.
Oh. Nice.
A little bit of grass at the end, but I made it.
Beautiful.
That was something else, man. What an airplane. It's a cupcake.
Yeah.
That is definitely like a little baby doll up there. Well, that said 8 minutes on flight time. I'm a little surprised at that, honestly. But 8 minutes, and there was very mild flying, obviously. I've got this 85-inch Skywing ready to fly, and I wanted to do a CG test on it before I flew it. And what I really didn't want to do is put a single point of pressure on a CG point on the wing because it's big and it's heavy. And I just did not want to put divots in the wing. And not only that, it's cumbersome. So I'm not saying I couldn't lift it, but it definitely would be uncomfortable, to say the least. So instead, I came up with this little 3D print, and I'll put the link for these in the description so you can have these on Thingiverse and download them. I'll caveat this by saying on Skywing planes, they say the CG is the spar tube itself. It's the center of the tube. So that's what these are designed to do. They're designed to slip in between the wing and the fuselage, and then the bottom has a little Lego style cutout, a circle, and the base has a little Lego style insert that goes in to key it. And that way we can lift the plane up, put it on the stand, and then rest it on the table and check the CG. So that's what we're gonna do real quick. We're gonna do that off camera, and I'll set it up and get it balanced, and then you'll get a look at how we're setting up CG on this 85-inch Skywing. Well, here we go. The spar tube is now sitting in those little cups on that sliver of an arm, and the base is installed. It took 2 of us to lift the plane up and insert those legs underneath, so you definitely could use some help there, but we simply lifted the plane up by the landing gear, slid the legs in, and then rested the plane down. And as you can see underneath, we have a nice opening underneath the wheels right there between the wheels and the table. So it's resting on the tube. Dave is back there just preventing the plane from falling over. That's his sole job. He's not influencing the balance at all. And there we go. We've got a nice clean CG, no damage to the plane. And it was worth the effort because I'm going to tell you guys, I originally had this set up to fly with 6L5000s, and the 5000s were too nose heavy, right, Dave?
Yeah.
Definitely nose down.
It was nose heavy.
Right?
Yep.
So this now has 6L4000s, and we're going to try that. Later on, I can try other things like moving the flight battery around. There are other options, but for now at the field, this is the correct balance for this plane to give me a very neutral CG. It is off the table down there, and it is ready to fly, perfectly balanced. Okay, next up, we're going to look at deflection. The next thing we're going to do on this big old 85-inch Skywing is we're going to set the deflection. And there's a lot of methods for doing this as well, but I came up with a method that I like quite a bit. I was able, due to my helicopter flying, to get a helicopter pitch gauge from RC Logger, and it's a really good gauge, but they do sell other options on Amazon and elsewhere in the hobby. You just have to look for a helicopter pitch gauge. And the way I have that on the wing is just a little tiny bit of double-sided tape, and I gum it up with my finger because I really don't want it sticking really hard to that shrink covering, but I do want it to stay on there. So all I've done is put my pitch gauge on the surface, and we're going to zero it out, and then we're going to go ahead and set the deflection up and down for both ailerons to be identical on both wings. Dave and I have already done a little bit of testing, and I already know that this wing has the low point. So we're going to set all of the control surfaces to the low point on this wing. And the low point is due to mechanics. When you put these servos in and adjust the arms based on that tooth alignment on the spline, there is some variance from servo to servo. So the way I like to do it is find which surface has the mechanical low point and set all the others to be equal to that. And that way we make sure we don't have any differential aileron. And that way we make sure there's no differential movement on the aileron surfaces, and we should get a nice clean axial roll. So Dave's gonna operate the logger and I'm gonna operate the sticks and make the adjustments, and let's get this thing dialed in. Okay, Dave's got the RC logger zeroed out, so we're gonna bring the left aileron up and read the max deflection value. So there we go. What do you got there, Dave?
46.7.
46.7. Okay, now we're gonna go down. And what do you got there, Dave?
51.4.
Okay, so that obviously can't be that way. We have to come up to the other value, which 46.7. So we're gonna bring all 4 control surfaces, all 4 aileron movements to 46.7. The way we make these adjustments on Edge TX is we go to the output screen, and I'm going down to channel 7, which is my port aileron right there. And I'll edit that, value, and I'm gonna move the stick to the right, and it's the max value that I need to change. I need to bring that down so that we go no higher than 46.7. So there's 48.2. There's 47.8. .6. Okay, 46.8. That's going to be, I'm going to call that close enough. So we've got 46.7 and 46. There you go, 46.7. Okay, so now we have deflection on the port aileron set at 46.7. We need to pop this off and go do the same exact thing on the starboard aileron. All right, now we're on the starboard aileron, and Dave's going to tear the RC logger, reset it basically to 0. There we go, 0, 0. Now I'm gonna bring the right aileron all the way up. And what do you got there, Dave?
48.2.
48.2 and 46.7 is our number. So 48.2. And on the downside, what do you got?
48.8.
Okay, so very close. We just need to bring them both down to 46.7. All right, same deal on this one. We're gonna go on Edge TX, we're gonna go into channel 1, which is my starboard aileron, and we're gonna edit the outputs. And first I'll do up aileron. So we've got 48.2, and I'm just going to use the outputs to bring that down to 46.7.
Yep.
Right there. Oh. There we go, 46. You're hovering right there. Come on, work with me, RC logger. I think that's it, 46.7. Okay, we'll do the same thing. So I'm at a value of 96 on the radio there for the max. Now I'm going to go to the min. Whoops. Now I'm going to go to the min, and we're going to bring that down. And we're looking again for 46.7. We're at 48 right now, going the wrong way. There it is, 46.7.
Perfect.
Perfect. Okay. There you go. There's one method on setting deflection on your RC plane. This works on this plane because it's got big control surfaces and it's a big plane with big heavy servos, so no problems moving that little bit of extra weight. On really small planes with small servos, this may not be the best option. You might want to get one of those mechanical gauges. And don't forget, you want to repeat this process on surfaces like your elevator as well. So Dave and I are going to do that off camera, but we're going to put the RC logger on that elevator surface and set them as well, because on the elevator, we've got 2 servos, one on the right, one on the left, so it has to be set up the same exact way. That way you prevent things like corkscrews and coming out of loops the wrong way, or rolling, rocking wings. Anytime you have an elevator surface that's off on one side over the other, it's going to introduce undesirable flight tendencies. So that's next up. We're not going to film that one, but we will do the same process on the elevator. This is the second flight of the Extra NG. The Maiden went off without a hitch, so we're just going to take it out and do one more flight. I did do an inspection, and everything looks good on the plane. I don't have any concerns. All the servos are good. The motor's good. Everything is just fine. Okay, here we go, the second flight of the Xtreme, and we are running out of daylight quick, so we got to get this flight up and done. Yeah, it's definitely getting dark out. So I want to do a couple things real quick before I run out of daylight. The first one I want to do is that elevator. So climb up, flip the wings, full elevator. There we go, that's better. Look at that.
Nice. Very nice. Beautiful. Pretty steady.
And then to transition into the Harrier.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's looking really good.
Hold that.
That's all I got, man.
Okay.
Dave said hold that. I'll try it again. I can come into a Harrier again. I'll try and run it by the runway this time. No, it doesn't. I can't. I'm having a hard time getting it into a Harrier without having that elevator fully deflected first. So I'm going to climb and do it again from an elevator. I just find, for my skill level, that's easier right now. There's full elevator. All right. Yeah, I'm holding a lot of aileron to keep that, and it was still drifting over that way. So I have to practice that one. I need to do work on that. All right, we're gonna do an inverted flat spin and see how it does there. So climb up, wings over, and here we go, inverted flat spin. Pretty good, pretty good.
Beautiful.
It seems it's a heavier plane, man. This takes a little more to recover than what I'm used to. That's a heavy plane. All right, more knife edge work. Man, that is nice to fly. I gotta tell you, I like that a lot. I'm gonna do it again coming around the other way.
I got that one. A little shaky, but I got it all.
There it is, another one. Look at that, man. Just beautiful. So easy to fly that. Well, Freddie's not here to bust my chops about getting lower, but in the spirit of trying to appease Freddie, I'm gonna try and bring it a little lower this time because it flies the knife edge really well. So I'm gonna come around, let's get myself set up.
Beautiful.
That was nice, man. Feels really good.
I think I'm doing a little better with the camera for you this time, John.
Good. Yeah, inverted is easy. No problems on the inverted flight. Lovely. I'm not gonna lie, I'm nervous, man. This is such a big plane. It's a nice plane and it's flying great, but. All right, I'm gonna bring it around for a little hammerhead and then I think that'll be it. I think we'll be at the end of my my flying for the day. It's getting really dark. Let's climb up a little bit and see how she does straight up. A little bit of rudder to kick her over. Oh man, that was nice. But yeah, I think I want to do one more Harrier. I'm gonna try one more.
Nice.
There we go.
Nice. I got that one nice.
My meager attempt at hovering, and that's it. My thumb said enough, and I also had a battery alert, so that's it. All right, guys, here comes the landing. We're going into medium rates for the landing, and we'll bring her down. That was a little faster than it needed to be. I think I can slow that down some. So I'm going to do one more loop.
But that was really good.
That was a good landing, but it was
really good.
I think faster. That's it. Battery alerts, timer's going off. It's dark. Okay, that wraps up my Maiden on the Extra NG. I'm impressed. It flies straight and square. The assembly went together just fine. No issues on the build. Being as big as it is, it's very easy to see up in the sky, even on a very overcast day. We are getting no help from the sun today, no color pops, so even with that condition, the plane was very easy to see in the sky. Ground handling was just fine, and the airframe is true out of the box. I think I wound up literally with one click of elevator when it was done, which is pretty good. That's a pretty straight airframe. Well, I'd like to say thanks again to KST for sponsoring this video by providing the servos. And I want to remind you guys, if you like this kind of content, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when new videos hit the channel. That's all I've got for today. Take it easy.
Hasta la vista!
Hey, if you like the work I do here on RC Video Reviews, please consider joining me on Patreon. For about the price of a cup of coffee, you can help me keep making videos just like this one. If you'd like to help out, there's a link in the description and on your screen.